Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I've toyed with the idea of doing like an intro video where I describe all the different things you could find on my channel, videos as well as playlists of other videos, but I'm actually doing something right now that I haven't done ever, I don't think. I don't recall doing one before. Lots of people like to do them, but I just never really had the enthusiasm to do one before until now. Barnes & Noble, every year, the retailer Barnes & Noble does a Criterion sale. 40 to 50% off all Criterion titles. Nice, right? Especially if there's a particular title that you want and would like the price to go down first before you purchase. And I have just such a purchase in my possession right now. Now, this is an unboxing video, but technically it's an unbagging because all I've got right here is a shopping bag. A Barnes & Noble shopping bag, which I will open in a moment here. But yes, it's a little bit different for me. Normally I don't show off my collection. I don't show off discs, I just talk about films, but today, a little something new. Okay, we ready to go here? My Barnes & Noble Criterion sale haul. Ta-da! Quite possibly the greatest movie trilogy ever. Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and Before Midnight. All directed by Richard Linklater. Films came out in 1995, 2004, and 2013. Number 3, my number 1 favorite movie of 2013. Number 2, my number 1 favorite movie of 2004. And number 1, my number 2 favorite movie of 1995, right behind 7 by David Fincher. As you can see, the price originally was $100, so with the sale, I got it for like $54, which is great. So I gotta take the plastic off of this right now. Okay, the plastic is off, and I'm going to show you the packaging here. This is a nice set, basically, to put on your shelf, your culture shelf, as it were. You have the Criterion logo, of course, in the corner. I hope you can see that. And the title, of course, they just call it the Before trilogy because all 3 movies have Before in it. You've got this artwork, and the titles of the 3 movies are here at the bottom, all 3. And it says the Criteron Collection right there. And this is the outer spine, Criterion, and the logo. And you've got the director's name, of course. And the back here, you've got some more artwork. You've got the descriptions here. New restored 2K digital transfers of Before Sunrise and Before Sunset, and a 2K digital master of Before Midnight. Before Sunrise was shot on film. The other 2 were shot digitally. They call this, at the top here, the cornerstone of director Richard Linklater's career-long exploration of cinematic time. We've got some technical information right here. First movie is 101 minutes. The second one's 80 minutes. Third one is 109 minutes. And there are some slight differing sound specs here. 2.0 surround for the first movie, 5.1 surround for the second, and 5.1 again for the third. Let's see here, what else we got here. It's a little hard to read at this point exactly what all this stuff is, but we've got some more logos down here. We've got the Criterion logo. Warner Brothers is the distributor of a couple of them. Sony, that's definitely the first movie, I think. Or maybe it's the third one, I forget. Yeah, a few more corporate logos there. This is what the top looks like right there, and the bottom has nothing on it. Right, and so you can face this out on your shelf right here, or face the films out like so. which is a little interesting the way they've got them set up like this. This one's a lot thicker. The packaging for the first film is thicker than the other two. So let's remove this and take a look at each of these. Before Sunrise, here we have some artwork, and this doesn't look like a publicity still that I've seen for the first movie right here. I remember seeing a few publicity stills, but not this one. This one just looks, it looks like an artist's rendering of a still from the film that was taken at the time, a photo that was taken of the two lead actors, Julie Delpy and Ethan Hawke, of course. Their names are at the top right there. But it's unfamiliar to me. And here we have the second one. Also, this still looks kind of unfamiliar. I don't recall seeing it before. Again, the two lead actors. And this one is definitely familiar, though. This is, you know, I only really remember seeing one publicity still of the two of them walking around and talking, and this is definitely like a closer shot of that. Of course, it was daytime. There was no moon in the background there. But there's some nice artwork there. Each one of these there's the credits right there, and there's just a little bit more information about the film. And at the back, again, the tech information about the film right there, the credits at the bottom for the second film. And for the first film, yeah, same thing. An exquisitely understated ode to the thrill of romantic possibility. You betcha. Yeah, this is quite an experience seeing this for the first time. I actually didn't see this movie in the theater. I saw it on VHS basically one morning after it had come out, and yeah, I was like, wow, that was really something, wasn't it? Ooh, look at this. Okay, so we've got, yeah, nice photo right there, and there's the disc. Very lovely, and here's the booklet. Yeah, some of these are going to be pictures I've never seen before. It's real interesting. As I said, I didn't see this movie in the theater. The second and third movies I did see in the theater, though, and I actually avoided as many trailers and clips as possible before seeing both of them. Now, here are all the credits, the main credits, basically. Oh, no, this is the whole cast right here. Yeah, this is like the entire cast listed here. Some more credits. Another still. This is from late in the film. Another still of both the actors. And here's the cast again. What's this? Yeah, that's like the full cast right there. And this is... It's really bizarre. I'm not really sure. I don't know why they have two sets of casts here. Oh, I get it. Sorry. That's the second film cast. There we go. That's the second film casting credits. And here's the cast for the third film. And the credits, headed up by Richard Linklater here, the writers, the director of photography right here. And there's another still. That's from the third film, of course, with him half his shirt untucked like the entire time. It's really annoying. Time Regained. Okay, here's an essay by a guy named Dennis Lim. And this is still of the three of them working on the script, I guess. There's Ethan Hawke, and there's Richard Linklater and Julie Delpy, and it looks like they are just like... Because Delpy and Hawke actually helped co-write... co-wrote the second scripts for the second and third movies, so this apparently is them working on that. I'm not sure which film it's from, which decade it's from, but yeah, that's definitely them working on the movie. So here we have this essay on the making of the films. We have a couple more stills from the second film, Before Sunset, which is probably my favorite of the three, but don't quote me on that because the first one is really, really great as well. And I love the third one too, just not quite as much as the first and second ones. Yes, this is just a continuation of the essay. And here's more of the second. This looks like the second movie, judging by Ethan Hawke's haircut. That's Richard Linklater right there again. And here they are just reviewing the script. Yeah, not an improvised movie, a scripted film. And here's the first movie. Here's more stills from the first movie. It's Julie Delpy, and there's Ethan Hawke. This is a quiet drink that they have late at night. This is in the second half of the movie. And this is just the essay continues on here. And here we've got a still from this. I think this is from the third movie right here. This is definitely from the third movie, this picture. And this one's probably from the third film as well. The essay continues. This is pretty long. I have to read this at some point. Here's the second film, of course. Here's Julie Delpy about to sing her number, "Let Me Give You a Waltz," I think is how the lyrics went. That's a really great number right there. Yeah, this is all from the second movie. Okay, the essay comes to an end. Here we have some information about the transfer, about the masters that they were taken from for these discs. There's another still. I'm not really sure. Sorry if I'm misframing this. I'm looking at the book and trying to look at the screen at the same time. That's from the third movie, of course. This one might be from the second film, or it could just be some photo of them preparing. But that's definitely from the third movie right there. And here are the two actresses who play their kids in the third movie, their twin daughters. Yeah, so yeah, just some technical information, credits about the disc itself. A special thanks page right here. And acknowledgments, like in a book, and or maybe it's acknowledgments for the book. I don't know. That's still from the third picture right there, the third film. Here we have. This looks like a photo from the very first movie. That's Linklater right here. Here's Ethan Hawke with his 90s hair, and that's Julie Delpy. And here we have some. Looks like some credits for the booklet itself. We have art credit right here. Audio for, I don't know what that is. And there's Richard Linklater again. Probably for still from the first movie. Right, so that's the booklet right there, and that's probably just the why this first one is so thick. And the yeah, it looks like we just have the discs in the packaging for the second and third movies. So there's a still for the second film, Before Sunset. Give you a good look there at the disc. And the back once more, and the third film. Right. Very nice. Very nice. So, very recently, one of my videos was blocked worldwide on YouTube. Couldn't play it anywhere because I included too many clips of different stuff. So I won't be playing any of this stuff. But in the upper right-hand corner, we see the chapter selection, and below that we've got a couple of featurettes. First called The Space in Between, a second 3x2, a conversation. I guess that means 3 movies by 2 people, or 3 movies about 2 people, something like that. And a behind-the-scenes clip. I played a little bit of the behind-the-scenes thingy, and it's not anamorphic like the rest of the movie. Like the film itself is. Anyway, this is from the first disc. So here is the menu on the second film, Before Sunset. We've got the chapter selection and another behind-the-scenes featurette. A couple of different featurettes on this one. Richard Linklater, Dream is Destiny. Dream is Destiny, that's actually like a line from... what's that one he did in 2001, the animated one? Shoot, I can't even remember the title now. Shame on me. Anyway, that was a line that his daughter had in the very beginning of the film. Dream is Destiny. Waking Life. Yeah, there we go. And then below that, another featurette. This one on Richard Linklater himself. So those are the special features on the disc for the second film. So here's the menu screen for the third film, Before Midnight. We've got the chapter selection. We've got a commentary track. We've got 2 featurettes. One is called After Before. And then there's one called Love Darkens and Deepens. Haven't watched any of these, of course. Just got it, so I can't describe any of them for you. But that's what you'll find on the disc for the third film. So, it's been about a month, actually, since I bought the set from Barnes & Noble and started their special Criterion sale. But last week I had some extra time off, and I finally took the time to watch a bunch of the special features on the set, and so I'd like to tell you a little bit about them. I can, having seen them, speak somewhat intelligently on them. So, on the first disc, the one for Before Sunrise, the first thing is a 44-minute feature called The Space in Between, which is an interview of Ethan Hawke, Richard Linklater, and Julie Delpy by Kent Jones. Delpy actually isn't in the room. She joins them halfway through by satellite. But they discuss a lot about, meeting for the first time and the writing process. They talk a lot about, the process of writing. And both Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy talk about how their memories of making the movie from the writing process are a lot more clear than the actual shooting, because the writing process takes so much more time. They sit in an apartment together for days, weeks, bouncing ideas around, talking about dialogue, experimenting with different things. And then once they have the script formed up, then the shooting is much shorter by comparison. Then we have a 3x2, a conversation, and that is apparently referring to 3 movies about 2 people. This is a discussion by a couple of guys named Dave Johnson and Rob Stone, both of whom have each written their own book on Richard Linklater and his films. One of them is from America, and one of them is from England. And one of the things they talk about with the series, the 3 movies, is how it sort of makes a sort of comparison between American independent cinema and English cinema, or European cinema, I guess you could say. They talk a lot about how the mirroring happens throughout the series, the way events or even particular shots mirror, in some movies mirror the others in, amongst the three films. They talk about themes and how they relate to the locations themselves, the first being in Vienna, the second one in Paris, the third in Greece. They talk a little bit about how politics factor into it. There's clips of the films, but mostly it's just a discussion between these 2 guys who really didn't have anything to do with making the movie, just big fans of Richard Linklater in general. The final special feature on the Before Sunrise disc is a behind-the-scenes EPK, an electronic press kit, which is all basically taken from the shoot and publicity basically around the time the film came out, which was 1995. So it's an old feature, basically. It's been, moved onto this disc, but it's an interesting little tidbit if you want to take a look at it. That's about 6 minutes long, and the other 2 are about 45 minutes long. Then there, on the Before Sunset disc, the documentary called Richard Linklater, Dream is Destiny. It's an hour-and-a-half long. It's pretty much a video biography of Richard Linklater and his career. They all go all the way back to his childhood. They interview his parents, his sister. They talk about, the projects that he worked on when he was a young guy, and finally he sort of wormed his way over into becoming interested in making films, making a few shorts, and then starting with his first sort of experimental feature, which is called It's Impossible to Learn to Plow by Reading Books, which is essentially a whole bunch of shots of Richard Linklater riding around on trains from one place to another, which he basically filmed all on his own. He brought the camera equipment with him, he would set it up, start it rolling, and then pop into the frame and sit in the chair or walk down the aisle of the train for whatever the shot was. And it's, it's not a long movie, but it's, essentially very plotless, just him traveling around to different places. Then they move on to Slacker, and then Dazed and Confused, and they discuss each of these movies, and there's lots of clips and lots of interviews with people who have worked with him over the years in many different ways. Of course, Delpy and Ethan Hawke are interviewed for this, Matthew McConaughey, Jack Black, a lot of people over the course of his career. They even go way back and interviewed the camera operator on Slacker, and they have some footage, actually, some footage of them making the film itself, making Slacker, and then compare that with the contemporary interview. By the way, a lot of these features are actually pretty recent. They talk about Before Sunrise, they talk about Before Midnight, they talk about Boyhood quite a bit, and there's actually a lot of discussion on Boyhood, including in this feature footage from the press tour where they're being interviewed and they go to red carpet events, and even a few clips and behind-the-scenes footage of the movie that he made most recently, which is Everybody Wants Some. It was co-directed by Karen Bernstein and Lewis Black, and it's, if you're a fan of Linklater, you definitely want to look at it if you can. It's from a television series called American Masters, which they got the rights to put on the Before Sunset disc. Quite a good feature, and lengthy and thorough. Then there's a feature called Linklater on on cinema and time. It's about 9 minutes long. It's a video essay from a person who's called Kogonada. It's from Sight and Sound. Sight and Sound is a magazine, and I guess they do video featurettes as well for the internet. Basically, it's just on Linklater, basically, and how, you know, the way cinema manipulates time and how that relates to these films. Not only in the charting of the relationship over the course of 18 years, but also how each film will compress time or not in the case of Before Sunset, because it's a real-time movie. You know, the movie lasts for 80 minutes, and the story it's telling is only like 80 minutes long. And then finally, there's another behind-the-scenes featurette that is similar to the one from Before Sunrise. It's about 10 minutes long. Again, it's just basically interviews and footage taken for the publicity of Before Sunset when it came out in 2004. Finally, we have the final disc, Before Midnight, and their first feature on that is called After Before. Well, I shouldn't say it's the first feature. There's a couple of features. There is a radio interview in which Linklater, Hawke, and Delpy are all interviewed. It's about 40 minutes long. It's being hosted by Terry Gross. But the issue with that is, on the disc, basically, it's just something that you listen to. So they have the menu screen on there for the time that it's playing. And I didn't really want to take the time to listen to it when I was watching it on my flat screen, because it would just have the menu screen on there the entire time, and I was a little worried about the image burning into the screen. So I'm going to have to listen to that on my laptop so I can minimize the screen and put something else on there while I'm listening to it, so I don't have the image of the disc menu burned into my TV. But if you've got, of course, a separate sound system, if you're listening to whatever disc you're watching through speakers, you can obviously turn the monitor off and just listen to it for 40 minutes, and you don't have to worry about that problem with the image. Also, there's an audio commentary track for Before Midnight, in which Linklater, Delpy, and Hawke are all basically sitting down, watching the film and commenting on the process of making it and everything like that. And I haven't listened to that entire thing. I listened to a portion of it, but I didn't, take the time to listen to the whole thing before making this video. The one I did take the time to watch all the way through is a half-hour feature called After Before. And this is a really, really great feature. I really enjoyed this a lot. It basically starts filming. It starts with the day after they finish shooting, where they're all sitting in the hotel room that they shot in, or maybe it's a different hotel room, talking about, are we going to do another one? It's the day after they finish shooting Before Midnight, and they're already talking about possibly making another one, which is something that they really didn't ask themselves, or anybody really, when they made the first two. They made the first one, they didn't really think about making another one until a few years later. The second one, of course, ends on sort of an ambiguous note. It almost sort of demands another episode, but they didn't really discuss what they would do for it until they got into the years before, which they were planning it and figuring out what the location would be. Actually, one of the things they discussed on I think it was the Before Sunrise disc, on the space in between, was an alternate version of Before Midnight that would have a very different premise, different location, just a whole different story to it. But as it is, they decided not to do that. They went with a story about them having kids and being in a relationship for 9 years, an actual relationship, and how things have changed for them. Like I said, they have a lot of behind-the-scenes footage. It's all in black and white, all taken basically during the shoot, and some really interesting moments where they get a look at the walking sequences, where the two of them, Hawke and Delpy, are just walking side by side as the camera is trailing ahead of them. So they set the camera up, the behind-the-scenes camera, the black and white camera, to just look at this space, and then you see a crew member walk through, and then you see more crew members walk through backwards, and then finally, after more crew members pass by, you finally see the cameraman walking backwards, holding the camera, a guy off to the side with a bounce, and then Ethan Hawke and Julie Shelby walk through the shot, doing their dialogue, and it's just like this one little snippet of this long shot that you only get to see the one portion of. It's kind of a fun little bit right there. They do that a couple of times. It's all candid footage taken from the set, and they also really a fun feature on this is while they're talking basically in the hotel room, basically after they finish shooting, At one point, Julie Delpy picks up a guitar like she did in Before Sunset, and she starts to sing their fight dialogue. In the last big sequence of Before Midnight, they're in this hotel room, they start having a fight, it's a really big argument, and she converts the dialogue into music and starts singing her lines, and then Ethan Hawke starts singing his lines. That's a fun little bit right there. So yeah, if you're a fan of these films, you definitely would benefit from picking up this set, because all these features are really, really interesting. And I haven't even gotten into the the radio interview and the commentary. I haven't even checked that, listened to that stuff yet. So I'm going to, of course, at some point. But yeah, I over the course of like 2 or 3 days, I watched all these features and really got a big hit of Linklater and these films, which, as I said, is probably my favorite movie trilogy of all, even more than the original Star Wars. So, there you go. There's my video on Richard Linklater's outstanding trilogy of films about two people having conversations, unlike most movie trilogies, in which have at least one explosion or two, and some gunfire, and maybe some people flying through the air or swinging on, cables and what have you, or using the Force. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. That is my unboxing video on Richard Linklater's trilogy of films, and of course, if he releases another one in 2022, then they'll put out all new sets, I guess, of all this stuff. I don't know. We'll see. Thanks very much for watching. Appreciate it. And thank you all to all my new subscribers. If you are new here, I keep getting new subscribers on a regular basis. Really appreciate that. And of course, I've got my ongoing series, but of course, you already know all about that. That's probably why you're here in the first place, if you're a new person. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. And I will see you next time.